Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joe. You guys, let me tell you guys how I had an entire video already recorded on this episode, but then my phone broke. My phone broke and I couldn't access the video. It was like a 30-minute long video and I couldn't access it. So here we are again, re-recording. But that's okay. That's okay, because I'm gonna bring the same energy. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it better than what past me did. So here we are again, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for today's video. I was excited the last time I recorded it. I'm excited now. Before I get into today's video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And if you don't know, now you know. Once again, my name is Joe. You already know what this video is going to be about, but I'm going to say it. This video is about Arcane episode Tres. 1, 2, 3. Before I get into it, yeah guys, I had like an entire video like already ready to go, ready to edit, and then my phone broke. And if you don't know, I record on my phone. So I had to go ahead. I got a new phone and I am recording off the new phone. Yay! So we're back in business. Christmas just passed. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. And if you don't celebrate the holidays, if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you guys had a great day. Today we have our co-host, Kane. Say hi to the people. Let's get into the video, guys. There is so much that happens in this episode. I don't even know where to start. We're gonna do things a little bit different today. We're just gonna touch on the key parts of the episode. We're not gonna do a play-by-play like I usually do. I'm just trying to try out something new. If you like it, let me know down below. And if you want me to actually do the recaps of the episode, if you prefer that, let me know that too. Okay, so the first key point is Benzo dying. Let me tell you, Benzo did not deserve to die. He was just there to help Vander get his daughter under control. Like, he was just there to just basically convince Vi not to sacrifice herself. He did nothing wrong. He was literally in this show for like 2 seconds and he's dead. And he was a good, from what I could tell, he was a good friend. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Benzo is taking care of Little Man. So that, Little Man just lost a whole father figure. I'm thinking, that's what I'm assuming. Yeah, definitely like the first key point off the rip is just Benzo dying. I don't think he deserved that at all. R.I.P. Benzo. He definitely deserved a lot better. And you know what though? Benzo dying is Vi's fault. Let me tell you why. Everything else that happens in this episode is Powder's fault. But this Benzo dying is Vi's fault. And it's Vi's fault because of the fact that he and Vander wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the fact that she was trying to, I keep saying sacrifice herself, but that's basically what she was trying to do. She was trying to sacrifice herself to the enforcers so that they can take her away and leave the rest of the crew. It's Vi's fault that Benzo was there in the first place and that he died. And then it's also Vi's fault that Vander was there and got taken by Silco. These two particular things is Vi's fault. If Vi would have never come up with the stupid idea to sacrifice herself instead of actually coming up with like a decent plan, Benzo would be alive today. Little Man should be mad at Vi. Like she thought on her emotions. She didn't think it through. But Netflix gotta add a little bit of flair to it, so I understand. But it looks like Silco, Vander, and Benzo had a history together, and they didn't really like each other. I think they were brothers at one point, and Silco went his own direction or had his own opinions, and Vander had his own opinions, and that led to them just having a clash. And we see in the beginning, like somebody's getting drowned, and it's Silco getting drowned, and it's Vander drowning Silco. We can already tell like they already had their relationship. It probably would have came down to this anyway, because Silco in the past episode made Decker a monster. So either they would have found Vander now, or they would have found them later. But honestly, they would have found them either way, because he was creating, like Silco was creating a whole monster just to like get revenge on Vander. So Vander would have been captured either way, but Benzo will probably still be alive. So that's like the first key point that happens in this episode. I think another key point is when Jace and Victor find out a solution for the machine. So we know they're trying to get a solution for the machine so that magic can be created on its own, like handmade magic, I guess. I don't know. Instead of like you having to be born with it. And they had the balls, and you know, Jace was about to off himself because he got all his stuff taken away and he's basically banned from researching. Then Victor came in and helped him, and they came up with a solution, and now it was just up to them sneaking in. This is the key point, because this is again where we see Medarda. I don't trust her, guys. I do not trust Mel at all. I just think she's bored, and I think she's looking for stuff to do. I don't trust her. They basically go to the academy to try and like get into where his equipment is so that they can go ahead and test out their solution. And Medarda just lets them in. But she like says, if y'all get caught, I don't have anything to do with it. And I was like, girl, I don't trust you. I don't trust Mel. I feel like she's gonna play into this later on, but as another enemy. I think the enemies so far in this show are definitely Silco and Mel. But we see more of Silco being an enemy than we have of Mel being an enemy. I don't know, maybe I'm just reading her wrong, but she's not someone that I trust. So that's another key part, to sneak into the academy to try and test out the machine. And you know what, guys, my theory, I'm gonna say my theory later. I have a theory and I'm gonna say it later. I don't know, I don't trust, from that, what I got from that key part, I don't trust Mel. And Jace and Victor, I don't really have any feelings towards them. I don't really think anything towards them. Are they that significant to the show to me yet? No. I mean, we got Jace's background, sob story, and we don't really know much about Victor yet, but I don't know, maybe as the show goes on, I'll get a little bit more on them and I'll be able to like them just a little bit more, or hate them just a little bit more, or have any emotions towards them. But for now, to me, they're just two characters trying to do something. Now moving on to the next key point that happened in this episode alone. A lot really did happen in this episode, guys. Like, a lot happened in this episode, like a lot. So let me just say, from here on out, everything that happens is Powder's fault. In my opinion, from here on out, everything that happens is Powder's fault. Completely Powder's fault. I blame everything on her. Just wanted to get that in. The next key part is Vi rounding up her troops, which is just Milo and Clagger, and telling them that Vander has been captured and Benzo has died, so that they can go ahead and come up with a plan to save Vander or go after Vander. And Vi makes the very, very wise decision, but that came back and bit her in the ass, to leave Powder behind. I don't disagree with this. I don't disagree with this at all. Powder is literally Powder's fault that Vi was going to sacrifice herself. Even though Vi came up with a plan to do to go steal in the apartment, it's Powder's fault the enforcers are even looking their way, because of the fact that she set off the explosion in the apartment, and then like she had the items on her when the enforcers were searching them, so leading Vi, Milo, and Clagger to have to run for it. And then she lost the stuff that they stole. So it's kind of like, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for wanting to keep her behind. So she made the very wise decision to keep Powder behind. And I applaud her for that decision. It definitely came back to bite her in the ass. So I would have left her behind too, guys. I don't know. She doesn't do anything. And she can't even, like, she's just a kid. Like, she's just an annoying kid who wants to be helpful but isn't helpful. That's another key point that happens, and I definitely don't disagree with it at all. Like, Powder deserved to be left behind. Like, if you can make her go away, I would love that. Like, I'm very tired of this little girl. But it leads us to the next key point in this episode, which is when they actually get into the building that Silco has Vander in, and they're like talking to Vander, telling him, hey, listen, we're gonna get you out of here. Again, this is where they should have knew it was a trap, because as they're trying to free him, Vander's like, how did y'all get in? There's security guards everywhere. And Vi's like, oh, we just came in through the window or something like that. And in my head, I'm like, girl, this was a little too easy. You didn't think that? You didn't think that this was too easy for you? And then right then and there, Silco shows up with his little minions, and Vi realizes the mistake that she made. That part is on Vi, because it's kind of like, girl, you didn't think that getting into this building was gonna be easy? But I don't know what Silco's thing is with Vi. I mean, I guess he's just trying to get at Vi to get at Vander, because Vi is Vander's child. Well, Vi, Milo, and Clagger are Vander's child. So maybe but like, why would you go after the kids? Like, that's kind of, I mean, he's an enemy. So he's an enemy. So I guess he's not gonna think about the kids. But like, you really that effed up that you gotta go after his children? I'm sorry, I'm having a whole debate. Like, why would you, like, why would you go after the kids? But anyway, this leads to the next key point. And this is where Vi completely beats ass. Like, she goes hard. And I'm not gonna lie to you. When that first big man, like, stepped up to fight Vi, while Vi told Clagger to put a hole in the wall, and she told Milo to try and free Vander. And she said she was gonna handle the fighting by herself. When that first big guy stepped up towards Vi, I was like, she's going down. Like, it's no way this little girl is strong enough to beat a grown ass man. Like, it's absolutely no way. I don't care what you gotta tell me. There is absolutely no way she's gonna sit here and fight this grown ass man. But she proved me wrong. She hit him with the 2-piece. She said, and everybody was like, she was breaking people's necks. She was breaking people's necks. She was breaking people's necks. She was beating them the hell up. She was doing what she had to do. She was getting the job done. Like, absolutely was getting the job done. During her beating ass, we have 2 key points going on. So we have the key point with Jason Victor. They ended up getting that machine to work. We see the machine working. We see the magic being created. And I know, like, this is gonna make Jace probably very, very famous because he figured out how to create magic. And hopefully we get a background on Victor, but it's probably gonna make Victor very famous too. Maybe, do I think Victor might turn into a villain? I think so. I feel like Victor or Jace, because of the fact that they figure out this big thing, I think it's gonna get to their head, and they're probably gonna end up like becoming a villain in the show or something. I have not watched the next few episodes, guys, so I'm really just coming up with theories. I have no clue what's gonna happen next. So yeah, we have the key point where Jace and Victor figured out how to make the machine work. So bravo to them. That's really smart. That's gonna be a really big factor, because but this is what I think though. I think that machine might end up being like a time travel machine too. And the reason I say that will be coming up next. So just hold on to that thought, because I have a reason why I'm saying that. But anyway, while that key point is going on, we have Powder. Her big-headed ass could not sit still. So of course, she figured out, which I don't know why she didn't figure it out before. At the same time, she's a little kid. I think that's what we forget in this episode. Like, these are all little kids, but Powder is really a little kid. Like, she's probably like 12. Like, she's like a little kid. She's probably like 12 or 14. Like, she doesn't know much. But while like Vi's being ass, while Jason and Victor are coming up with solutions, here comes Powder. She couldn't sit still. And then she was having like a whole breakdown. Like, sis was upset. And I guess throughout that breakdown, she realized that she could put the balls in the little monkey machine and have it just be like a grenade, basically. So she figured that out, and she said, I can go help now. So she decides to come up to this building and help. And help, she did not. She did not help. She did not help at all. But while Vi's beating ass, Powder's climbing the building, and she like goes to the window where Vi and Vander are at. This is where I say everything that happens is Powder's fault. Every single thing. Everything that happens after here is Powder's fault, completely Powder's fault. This is why I cannot stand this little girl. Everything that happens is her fault. So this leads into the next key point, to where Silco makes Deckard drink the purple potion again that turns him into a monster, and Deckard drinks it, and now he's going to fight Vi, and Vi, that's where her ass beating skills end, because she couldn't fight that thing. But lucky her, Clagger already made a hole in the wall, and Vander is basically almost free. He only had one more, but Vander is free basically, so they could just escape right then and there. And so Vi like crawls back into the room, closes the door, and they're like literally about to escape. And this is where Powder comes in. Powder takes it upon herself to throw the monkey thing, the monkey grenade, and of course it explodes. But my thing is, she didn't just put one ball in there, she put multiple balls in there. So she didn't think this through. But again, she's a little kid, so we can't expect her to think things through. But at the same time, she put all the balls in there. Like, that's not smart. She throws the thing and it ends up like exploding. It ends up exploding, and it explodes so hard that it even explodes through the like door that Vi had set up. The explosion basically led to Milo and Clagger's death. So not one, but two main side characters. Both of their deaths. And it led to Vander being very injured, and it led to Vi being injured. So her explosion did nothing. It wasn't even necessary. It wasn't even needed. Like, we didn't need her explosion at all. But she's a little kid, so you can't be too mad at her. She ends up like falling off the building. And I really thought she was gonna die, and I was gonna be okay with it. I was gonna be the first time I was gonna be okay with a little kid dying in this show, because I could not. Like, she was too annoying. But she ends up falling off the building. Milo and Clagger are now dead. I believe one of them hit their head too hard and the other one got stabbed through something. I think Clagger hit his head too hard and Milo actually like ended up impaled. I seeing this and she's just done. I think Vi notices the monkey or one of the little trombones to the monkey, but she's so traumatized at this point that she doesn't realize like what that means. She doesn't realize that it's Powder's fault just yet. But this is what leads to the next key point, and it's basically Vander sacrificing himself for his kids. He realizes Milo and Clagger are dead, and he sees that Decker the monster is coming at Vi, and he just gets up and he proceeds to beat ass. And he's beating the F-U-C-K out of this monster. Like, he is beating his ass. And this is where Silco pulled a really dick move. He pulled a pussy move. Like, he pulled a dick move, because instead of facing Vander head on, like, you're supposed to be this big tough guy, instead of facing him head on, you stab him through the back. How you supposed to be tough, but you couldn't face him head on? Like, you knew if you faced him head on, you was gonna end up drowning again. And I didn't like that part. Because you didn't have to stab him in the back. He deserves enough respect for you to fight him head on, but you know what, you a pussy. So he ended up like stabbing him and, you know, pushes him off the ledge. And then like tries to get Deckard to go after Vi again. But this is where it leads to another key point. Vander ends up with the potions and he takes one. He said, F it, I'm dying, my kid's up there needs my help. And he takes one, and I kid you not guys, he turned into this Hulk. He turned into the Purple Hulk, because that man came up, he jumped up from multiple stories and ended up beating Deckard's behind. But by this time, the place was already on fire and it was about to be an explosion, and he saw Vi was still stuck under the ruffles, and he was gonna go after Silco, but instead he made the wise father decision to grab Vi and jump out the building before it exploded, which he did. And that's a way to go out, man. Like, this man really did everything he could for his kids. Like, he was about to sacrifice himself to enforcers. He was looking up for ways to keep these kids safe. Like, he did everything he possibly could for his kids. And these kids did not appreciate him. These kids messed everything up. Well, the one kid in particular, but he really was trying. He died a noble death. He died a noble death, but before he died, he literally told Vi to take care of Powder. That's all he told her to do. And this is what leads to the last main key point of the episode. Powder comes in all hype, and she's just like, oh, did you see that? That explosion was me. She's like, that explosion was me. Like, I helped. What's going on? And then she sees Vander like on the floor, and Vi turns around and basically said, sis, you killed 3 people today. Well, she don't say that, but she basically said, why would you do that? Like, you killed off Milo and Clagger, and now look, Vander's dead. I don't blame Vi on this part. Like, Vi ends up smacking Powder at one point during this part because of how pissed and upset she is. And honestly, guys, I don't blame her, because this is where I stand. In my mind, yes, Powder's a little kid, but Vi's not that old herself. So she's getting all this grief all at once, to where she just witnessed 2 of her brothers die in front of her, and she just witnessed her dad die in front of her, for her second dad, her adopted dad, die in front of her. She just lost so much within a few minutes. I don't expect her to want to, forgive Powder that quickly. I don't expect her to be like, oh my God, I understand, you're okay, because she just lost all these people. Like, I understand Powder also just realizes that that this is her fault. Vander died because of her, and the 2 guys died because of her. And in her mind, she's now in denial. Like, this is traumatizing for a kid. She just murdered 3 people that was close to her. So she needs help, but at the same time, Vi can only handle but so much. So I don't blame Vi for walking away, because at this point, everything that's happened is your fault. You killed off people I cared about. Before I continue, guys, this is where my theory comes in. I really think the machine that Jace and Victor were working on that created its magic again, it's most likely going to end up being a time machine. I feel like, and I might be wrong, I feel like it's going to reverse time to where we'll have Vander, Milo, and Clagger back. And the reason why I say that is because too many people died in this episode, and not every show does that. Too many main people died in this episode, and not every show does that. So that's where my theory is coming from. But I mean, I guess we'll see. But anyway, I don't blame Vi for being upset and walking away from Powder. Now, this is where I get a little mad at Powder, because Silco comes up and he doesn't kill her, but he basically asks her to join him. And she said, I want revenge too. They're not my family, this and that. And she ends up joining him. This is why I get mad at Powder. Because it's like, I get it. You are in denial and you're pushing it back to your brain, and you're trying you're not accepting that you just killed 3 people. And you're turning on your sister. But you don't have she didn't even question the fact that Vi would come back. She just automatically assumed Vi's left her. But I can kind of understand that she needed somebody to hate. Like, this is a little kid at the end of the day. She needs someone to put all that emotion towards, and Vi's the only one here. So I feel like her way of grieving is putting all that emotion onto Vi, because she needed that. If not, this kid will literally fall apart. So I'm mad at her that she decided to join Silco, but at the same time, I can't be too mad, because she's still a little kid and she doesn't know how to handle her emotions, and all these emotions are literally coming onto her all at once. Powder ends up joining Silco. And the last key point also would be Vi getting suffocated by Marcus. Marcus basically protected her, saying listen, don't go after her. He will kill you if you go after her. So he protected her. This was a very, very good episode. A lot of sad things happened in this episode. A lot of people died in this episode. But this was a very good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. This was such a good episode. I give it a 10 out of 10, definitely. It was from the plot to the characters to just the emotion. This episode, I think I cried in this episode. This was a very good episode. It definitely, honestly, from episode 2 and 3, it definitely picked up from episode 1. I can't wait to see what else this show holds. If episode 3 happens like this, I don't know what the other episodes are gonna hold for me. So I'm excited to continue this. I don't know, maybe my theory about the time, them making a time machine might be true. I can't wait to see. I know it's about to do a time skip. I think I saw a spoiler on that. So I know it's about to do a time skip, just because so much, but it also seems like something this type of episode is leading to. So I know it's about to do a time skip. I don't know how far the time skip is gonna be, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to continue with this series. This series is going to be very, very sad. I can already see it, with episode 3 being this sad alone. Thank you guys for tuning into my video. Arcane is turning out to be a very, very good series. I am very much into it, and I can't wait to continue watching the next episodes. Before I end this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. Let me know your thoughts on the series. Don't give me any spoilers. Like I said, I have not seen the rest of the episodes. But let me know what you think about this episode, about Vander dying, about Milo dying, about Clagger dying, and about Powder, taking Silco's side. Just let me know what you think. Before I leave you guys, I hope you guys are having a happy holidays. I hope you guys are doing well. If you lost someone recently, or if this is a tough time for you in the year, just know you're not alone. Take care of yourself mentally and physically, and know that there's always someone here for you, even when it feels like there's no battle you cannot conquer. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for tuning in again. And with this, I say, peace.